I just reviewed an entire month of client acquisition activity and content that I produced. The writing was good, the frameworks were sound, the consistency was there, but almost nobody new was seeing any of it. Does this sound familiar to you? The people who were seeing it were never going to buy. Anyway, if you're a freelance writer, a ghostwriter, or a copywriter trying to land premium clients, and you've been publishing consistently for weeks or months without seeing any results, this video is going to show you exactly what's going wrong. By the end, you'll know the 5 specific mistakes that I made, why each one kills your client pipeline, and what you can do instead. Because if you don't fix these, you can publish every day for the next year and still wake up to an empty inbox, 0 leads. So let's get into it. Number 1. Publishing AI-assisted content without personal stories is now invisible, as well it should be. I was using AI to generate only the first drafts and only based on transcripts from lessons and notes that I took on the fly myself anyway. I'd polish them, add structure, edit them, and then publish. The content looked professional because it was. It read well. You couldn't tell that it was AI and not me that wrote it. But, except for one tell, it had no human fingerprint on it, no story that would only come from my life, no opinion shaped by a specific experience, nothing that screamed, a real human sat down and wrote this, from something they actually lived through. And that matters more now than it ever has. Platforms, you see, are actively suppressing content that feels generic. And more importantly, readers are now scrolling past it. And it's not because they hate AI necessarily, although some do, but because they can't tell that a human made it. And why would anybody want to read stuff that a robot came up to, right? The content that performs, especially in text format, has one non-negotiable ingredient that has been an ingredient known to enhance marketing for decades, centuries, which is a clearly recognizable human component, a personal story, a named experience, a take that only you can have because only you lived the life that shaped it. This is your moat. This is your differentiator. It's not how many facts you can recite, how perfectly knowledgeable you are, but how well you can package it from the perspective of your unique human experience. You see, video still works a bit, like this one, partly because it's hard to fake a real human face at scale, for now. But text without personal stories blends into the feed and dies there. So the fix is simple, even if you might find it uncomfortable. Every piece of content that you publish needs at least one entry, one specific experience, one detail that proves a real person wrote it. A story is now not just an enhancer, but a cost of entry, a necessity. 4 mistakes to go. The second is that you nurture content doesn't get you discovered. It only warms people who have already found you. This one cost me probably the most time. See, I was publishing educational, tactical, problem-specific, specialist content and expecting it to attract new followers, expecting it to grow my audience, expecting strangers to find it and think, this person knows what they're talking about, I should follow them. That's not how it works. Not anymore. There are actually 3 types of content, and most writers, myself included, only ever create one of them. Nurture content is educational, tactical, problem-specific. It builds trust with your existing audience. It moves them closer through the customer's journey. It raises their buying temperature, but it does almost nothing for discovery and reach. Discovery content is fundamentally different. It is human, relatable, story-driven. It's lighter, entertaining. It's something you would like to watch, not to learn something, but just because you enjoy it. So, it makes someone that never has heard of you before want to follow you because they felt something, not because they learned something. We are emotional creatures, first and foremost, as difficult that may be to accept for the intellectuals out there. Then there's a conversion content, which directly asks for the sale and which I recommend keeping more for the further stages of a funnel unless you are selling something really cheap like a book or merch. Now, a working content system has all three, properly sequenced and balanced. And I had a system that was 90% nurture. I was deepening trust with an audience of two people, my mom and my cat. And since I'm no longer in touch with my cat, well, you can draw the conclusion from that. So if it sounds familiar, this is your sign to audit your content mix. 2 down, 3 to go. Now, for the third one, content is warm outreach. It doesn't reach cold strangers. This is one that stung me the most because it challenges a belief most of us hold without questioning. We believe that if we create great content and publish it consistently, new people will find us, they will come. The algorithm will reward quality. The right prospect will stumble across our post and reach out. And that's not what happens. Not anymore. Content functions now just like warm outreach at scale. It reaches people who are already in your network, people who already follow you, who already engaged with something you posted before, and only some of them are dead. Now, cold strangers, they don't even see your posts. Not because your content isn't any good, but because the platforms don't show it to them. The algorithm serves your content to your existing circle. That's how it's designed. So if you want strangers to enter your ecosystem, you have three options. One, you pay for cold visibility, ads, boosted posts, sponsored content, which is the platform's purpose in suppressing reach of late. Second, you could use cold outreach tools, prospecting platforms, email outreach at scale, paying for LinkedIn Navigator. Oh, another reason. Or if you borrow someone else's audience through guest posts, podcast appearances, collaborations, virtual summits, you name it. Now, what you don't do is publish another how to post and hope the right founder sees it. Publishing into the void and calling it a strategy is the most expensive mistake you can make with your time and your investment in content creation. Because cost isn't just money, it's months of your life. So you need to master what is called social selling, creating connections with people to expand your network and selling and nurturing that network as it grows, not merely posting to the void. It's a blend of both active and one-on-one interaction and one-to-many content creation. The fourth mistake is not having a multi-touchpoint funnel that warms leads. You know, my funnel was basically reach out, send a Loom video to those who respond, follow up with value until they book a call, and then do a free consultation on the call and hope they buy. But you see, that's already 2 or 3 contexts and formats. It's 2 or 3 experiences of me in different mediums, in text, in video, in live. And it had some results. And that's the psychology that changes things. Because most people only send a message. They expect to somehow close clients with a text message alone. Trust is a function of time multiplied by contexts. Spending 3 hours with someone in one sitting builds about the same trust, if not less, than spending 1 hour across 3 different settings. You can perhaps best understand this by thinking of a first date. If you meet someone for coffee, then you go see a show, then you grab dinner at a different spot, and then you go home and see a movie and head to the bedroom after that. It feels like you've known them much longer than if you sat in the same coffee shop for 3 hours straight, not moving 1 feet apart. It's the same total time, but it's a vastly different feeling of closeness and of shared experience. And people buy from people they like and trust and feel familiarity with. So you need to design your customer's experience to create that in as short a time as possible. And the way you do that is through variety. A lead who reads your email, who watches a short video on the thank you page, who joins your free community, who then maybe comes and sees a webinar that you host live, who then fills out an application form, who then receives a pre-call video, a VSL, and then they get a phone call before the Zoom call to confirm that they will come, to get to know them better. And finally, they see you on the call when they've experienced you through 7 different formats. And it doesn't need to happen over 7 hours, although that's a known rule that a person needs to consume about 7 hours of content to build that trust in you. But it can just be 1 hour of content spread out over 7 different contexts. So, the selling is mostly done before you open your mouth if you do that. The fix is to build a sequence, and the first step, the most important step of that sequence, is to build a good opt-in with a lead magnet, a squeeze page, a short video on the thank you page with not a full webinar, 1 to 3 minute thesis breakdown, but also an email course that they receive when they opt in, so that the value drips moment by moment and they get the time to actually consume it, because if they don't consume your free value, they don't understand your paid value either. And now the fifth mistake is that your profile might be actively repelling the exact people you want to attract. This is the last one, the most subtle one, and sometimes the most costly one, because it feels like you're doing the right thing. I mentioned my credentials in my LinkedIn profile, and one of those was that I was a high-ticket closer. I had closed deals. I had closed booked sales calls. I had numbers to prove it, and I thought that listing sales experience signaled credibility and competence to my avatar, which were high-ticket coaches, people who depend on sales and teams of salespeople to grow their business. But it was repellent, because when a prospect sees sales language in your profile was like closer, sales, conversion, they categorize you instantly. You're someone trying to sell them something. How dare you? The guard goes up, the response rate goes down, and every message you send after that is fighting uphill against the first impression that you created yourself. You need to learn to pre-frame yourself in a favorable way. And the way that you do that is by matching the role and status of the people that you're trying to reach. If you are selling to founders, your profile should position you as a founder, which, if you have your own company to do business through, you are. If you are selling to marketing directors, you need to position yourself as a peer in the marketing space, which, since you're doing outreach and content, which is marketing, you are. And what you are not is a commodity, a vendor, a service provider. What you are is a peer, a consultant, a trusted advisor. So, make your photo, your banner, your headline, and your about section come across the way that you want to in just 3 seconds. Forget the elevator pitch, forget 15 seconds. You have 3 seconds. And those determine whether someone reads your message or archives it, whether they say, sure, go ahead, tell me what you can do to help me, or leaves you on red. You need to make sure every signal, every element says, this is someone like me, not this is someone trying to get something from me, not this is someone I don't have anything to do with, but someone like me, because we buy from people we know and like and trust. So that is it, the 5 mistakes. You've just saved a month of wasted time, because I caught them for you. And that's the real lesson here, the most important lesson is that it's not the mistakes that are the problem. They are bound to happen in some form or another across every stage of the journey. Every writer building a business makes them. Every business owner goes through those stages. The problem is making them for 6 months or 12 months, for 2 years, without ever stopping to audit what is actually working and what's just making you feel productive. Now, review your numbers. Audit your content mix. Check your funnel. Look at your profile through a stranger's eyes. and the gaps become obvious fast, but only if you look, if you care to get feedback, iterate upon it, and improve. If you want the full system behind how email ghostwriting works in your funnel, from strategy to copywriting to technical implementation, I break it all down inside a 5-day email course that you can have for free by subscribing at emailcloserstack.com. The link is in the description. I can't wait to see you in the next one.